We're in Food Service Power Plant Network. Holy smokes, we made it. It's Monday night. Welcome to my favorite night of the week, where we get to connect together. And I would say this amidst, there's a lot going on in the world right now, and lots of conversations around everything going on, and there's a lot of emotion, and there's some heavy stuff out there, and a whole bunch of people trying to figure things out and themselves out and relationships out, and a lot. And I hear about it a lot, and all that's good and healthy and so forth to figure out where you are and what you want. And here's why tonight is amazing, because we find what we look for. I think it's a universal law. That which you look for, you will find. And in these Monday night conversations with industry leaders and influencers and people who have done pretty remarkable things, what we're looking for is story of overcoming. We're looking for story that demonstrates leadership, perseverance. We're looking for story that inspires. And tonight's guest is all of that. Marcus Calverley with Kesnix is an unbelievable human being with an unbelievable story. We'll talk about the last 3 months. It's been really fun for him. And I'm beyond excited to get to know him better and give us all an opportunity. Because if we find what we look for, what we're going to find tonight is someone who is not afraid to be real with their experience. We're going to find someone who is an industry leader. He is the vice president of sales at Kesnix. And we are going to find a whole heck of a lot of heart. Because that's what Marcus demonstrates. That's the word I'll use. I don't know that he's used that. Maybe we'll see. And I love when we use the word heart in food service. I love it because we're all living out of it. We're a service-oriented industry. And sometimes I think we don't use that word enough. And that's what's going to be on display tonight. I can't freaking wait. Now, a couple of things. First, there's people to thank before we get into this. Number one, the team at Zumba, Maureen and Joe and Dave and so many friends over there. Thank you for believing in this mission to tell stories and to find the good, to look for the good and to find the good. I just got this a couple of weeks ago, my latest edition, FE&S magazine. If you haven't found it, reach out to Zumba, reach out to me. We'll connect you to make sure that one shows up to your home office. I hope you get to see that. And secondly, the team at Crave, they are building an amazing website for me. They help with our daily quotes. They help me with so much thinking about what's next for the food service power plant. Chelsea and the team over there, they're unbelievable marketing, like a full white glove marketing organization for specific to the food service industry. So if you need some help, email commands, all this stuff, go check them out. Unbelievable. Chelsea, love you all. You're amazing. Next, a couple of tips and ideas for tonight. Number one, if you have a pen and you have a piece of paper, I would encourage you to take some notes. Always the guest on our show, on this conversation, has life experiences that perhaps you need, that might be beneficial to you. And I'm taking notes all the time. A lot of times I can't find them because they might be randomly on a sticky note here and there, but use it in your story. Use these lessons for your journey. So grab some notes. Secondly, you are more than welcome to chime in. Look who's here. Jason Hartman's in the house. Ready? Let's do this. Yo, Jason, what's up, brother? Welcome, my friend. Can't wait for it. Zena says, great team. Heck yes. Hi, Zena. Oh my gosh, it's great to see you. Look at that smiling face right there. Glory be. I freaking love it. So you're welcome to chime in, cheer on Marcus, ask him questions, whatever questions come up. He is an open book. He and I have talked about this quite a bit, and get ready for it. Let's go do it. Marcus Calverley, yo, brother.
Jason, how are you?
Man, I'm great. And the fact that my next hour or so gets to be spent with you makes me even greater. I got to be honest.
I appreciate it. I'm flattered and excited. This is great.
I love it. We got to meet at, you know what, real quick, someone put in here, hey, yo, but I don't know who that is. So I'm actually going to go in and everybody watching, I am not just texting all my buddies. We are going to, let's see if we can find out. Oh, you know who it is? It's Bolt. Yo, Bolt.
There she is.
That's
hey, Bolt.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it. Let's have a great hour. I am totally with you. Marcus, we met at the FE&S All Industry Gala, I believe, last month, right?
Yep.
in Chicago. And you got to get up and you got to give a speech because we're going to talk about this a little bit. You're the 2022 FE&S DSR of the year. Boom, fist pump, freaking awesome. And when you got up there and you shared for like 2.5 minutes, whatever it was, you said 8 years ago, I was running bars and I was fighting cancer. And you've had quite a journey in those 8 years. So let's start. We're gonna get to all of it at different aspects tonight. Let's start with the career portion of your conversation. Look at this. Diane is on. Hi, Diane. Zena says congratulations. So tell us about, you went from running bars 8 years ago to now being the VP of sales at Kesnix. Tell us about that career journey and how the heck you got to where you are.
Thank you again for having me. Yeah, it's a crazy, long, winding road. So I guess where do we start? So my first job was at a sub shop in East Lansing, Michigan, Jersey Giant, slinging subs. I first had an interest in food service and bartending because my two older brothers were telling me about how they were bartending through college and after college and making all kinds of money and having a good time. And it just, right, okay, that sounds pretty good to me. I should give it a try. So in college, worked throughout different bars and restaurants, popped around, had some internships in Chicago, bartended there, made some relationships. I studied political science at Michigan State, go green. Decided I would give that a try. And my candidate got absolutely stopped, after 15 months of work. So it was kind of back to the drawing board. It's not one you put on the resume. So it's kind of a fork in the road. Do we go back to square one, chasing politics, or do we jump back into something we know? Moved to Chicago, hopped behind a bar at a couple different places. Spent 6 years in Chicago. Okay. Again, amazing, fast and furious, awesome city, loved it. But I got a phone call about 6 years in, had the opportunity to move back to East Lansing, take over managing a bar there. Spent about 2 years there and then hopped to another bar in East Lansing called the Riviera Cafe, where I spent about 4 years. Got sick, which I know we'll talk about. It's amazing business. I love that side of it, but doing it while sick, and once you got through it, it's like, all right, let's kind of looking for a change, right? Where do we go next? This is what I know, food service. This is where my comfort zone is, but I don't know, you're around it long enough. You see the lifestyle that's required. You see the difficulties, and figured let's try and find something new. No clue where to start. Short story is that I met my now wife, thanks to food service also. She was a food and beverage manager at a golf course. And just fate would have it that her family was close friends with the Israels, with Mark Israel. She was friends with his daughter, and her brother was friends with his son. So I met Mark Israel at a family holiday party. Brief introduction. This is what I do. Nice to meet you. That was it. Probably a couple weeks later, figured, maybe, I got to dive back in. I'm going to send this guy my resume. I'm sure he's got clients who he would recommend experienced, restaurant management too. He calls me up, says, come chat. Figured he's getting ready to vet me before he, makes any recommendations. He asked me if I've ever heard of AutoCAD. Nope. Do you know what Revit is? Nope. Walked out of the office a few minutes later as the new designer at Great Lakes Hotel. Didn't even know I was being interviewed. I remember calling my wife as I walked out, obviously excited, and I got a new job, but what are you going to do? Don't know. No idea. So that's how it started. In the 2 weeks between that day and starting, I bought a computer, taught myself AutoCAD, and by taught myself, I mean, the basics. I wanted to show up with a foundation.
Yeah. So good.
The moment I walked in the door, I fell in love, dove in, got my nights and weekends back, got some stability, had a new direction. I mean, it was special. I still have that feeling, but I recall that first 5 or 6 months, just, drinking from a water hose, trying to intake everything I worked in restaurants my entire life. I had no clue how vast this side of the business was. And still learning every day. So, spent 4 years in the Southfield office, on the design team, helped build that up to what is now 10 guys and gals throughout the country. It was Joel who started. I was number 2. Went to West Michigan for a couple of years, worked out of the Great Lakes West office, and then got the chance to come to Madison, Wisconsin, and bring some design services to Kesnix, grow the business here on design, build, and sales, and haven't looked back. So that's the short version, I guess. A little long-winded, but that's how we got here.
I freaking love that you're going in not knowing it's for an interview.
No clue.
You have no idea what CAD is or Revit, and you got hired as the next designer.
I wore a suit thinking I should wear a suit, right? And the first thing he asked me is, why are you dressed like that? I don't know, man, because I don't know what this is.
Right.
Wow.
Oh, God.
So yeah, I mean, it's just again, Mark is real. He sees around corners, and took a chance on me and gave me, just gave me the opportunity, gave me the chance to change my life, and we haven't looked back.
Freaking awesome. Way to go, Mark. And I love that you were like, okay, now I need to figure out what this AutoCAD thing is. So let's go start learning. And that's amazing. Zena, welcome to the FE&S DSR of the Year Club. Zena, yes, heck yes. I forget when Zena was a DSR of the month or of the year, but I'm sure it's like, I imagine you all get together for a really nice meal every year somewhere in secret, and you don't tell anyone, and you share stories, and it's this like cool alumni.
I'm excited to be a part of it. Yeah, haven't
so.
heard about the secret society yet, but I'll be waiting.
That is really funny. The secret society, I love it. Jim Ottmer, cheers and congrats. Love your story, brother. Jim Ottmer with Salvador. They're the partner for all the DSR of the months and of the year. Jim, boom. We were talking about you at a golf tournament today, which was awesome. It's really funny. I'm reading a book called The Secret Society of Success. You mentioned Secret Society. Random enough. Okay, so you go from that journey to having no idea what AutoCAD is, showing up in a suit, and learning and growing and moving to new location, and now a third new location with Great Lakes, Kesnix. Mm-hmm. Was the idea of being the DSR of the month or of the year ever on your radar?
I got to be honest with you. The answer is no. I was aware that Jim Bologna and Sean Ferrugia, who were in the Great Lakes Hotel Supply office, were both DSRs of the month and were nominated, obviously, for the year. Looked up to those guys so much, learned a ton from them. They both took me under their wing. So I was aware of what the award was and what it meant. But I would be full of it to tell you that I ever thought, like, yeah, for one day, no, it didn't occur to me. And getting that phone call just to be nominated, right, is incredible. So exciting. I think went home and opened up some champagne with Emma, my wife, and it just felt good, right? It felt like good to be acknowledged. But figured that was kind of it, right? That's it, and it's good to be. How could I? I've been in the industry, 6 years. There's no way. So obviously, getting the call that I happened to win was, blew me away. It's beyond flattering. Yeah, crazy. Awesome.
Let me ask you this. Would you say, such a cool experience. You get to go to the Four Seasons and we have that really fun night and you get to share a little bit of your story. For anyone who desires that, for anyone who has a longing to be a DSR of the month or of the year, what's it done in you? Is it something that's created a different level of confidence? Is it something that's helped you realize, wait a minute, maybe I thought I was at this place in my career in the industry, and maybe I'm actually at a different place, at a different level? Anything tangible in your journey since all that? Yeah, it's a great point. I think a word that comes to mind, I guess, is validation a little bit. I think, I kind of, we're just having a conversation here. I think I carry a healthy dose of self-doubt and self-deprecation. So kind of like, am I finding my way? Am I doing well? Am I succeeding? And then to hear that, okay, some people think I'm doing a pretty good job. That feels good. Does it change? Does it change the way that I've been trying to approach the role and the job that I have now? No, it actually just kind of, it's affirming, I guess, that I've found my style, my comfort zone, to a certain extent. And, what I hope it changes, if it changes anything, is that
it's great for Kesnix. I know this isn't false modesty. Like, again, I think I mentioned it in the speech in Chicago. Nobody does anything alone. I sure don't. I mean, the selling's the easy part, and then the work starts. The accounting team, the project management team, the installers. I mean, the warehouse team. It's everybody. So my hope is that what it changes is that gets Kesnix some recognition that it deserves. And I'm proud to be a part of it, and my name's on the award, and I'm proud of it. But it's for the team for sure.
I love it, man. You, as a VP of sales in our industry right now, I'm sure you've got your hands full, just with all the challenges out there that we all know about. Keeping team members filled with energy and going when I know that can be hard to do. It's hard on so many people. And then the day after this award is announced, you welcome your first child into the world, right? Baby girl?
Yes. Yep. Baby girl, Susie.
Okay. So Susie, 2 questions. First of all, how's it going being a dad? How are y'all doing? Number one.
Okay.
And then secondly, how do you had certain routines, I'm sure, to manage your life and manage your business and manage your work. And, you and Emma, right? Had life, and now you've got this beautiful baby girl. How do you adjust scheduling or disciplines to continue to move forward in your career, to manage a team and also be present at home in a new way?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I guess questions. Number one, how's it going? Amazing. It's been the best 10 weeks of my life. It's crazy. Like, this is it's been a dream. I think Em and I have been talking. I think we've got the easiest baby of all time. She's sleeping great, eating great, happy. Awesome. And we were told, again, I know we'll probably get into this. We were told this couldn't happen. Like, just because of some medical treatments that I went through, this wasn't a thing, at least not naturally. So it's all just a crazy, enormous gift. And it's hard to describe. It's awesome. It's the best.
For you.
As far as, the routines, things change, right? It's been great. I've relied on the bar and restaurant days, going back to those hours a little bit, finding a way to be productive and energetic on when the tank's running on E a little bit has helped. I've learned that I'm a little more patient than maybe I thought I was. Susie's helping me slow things down a little bit, which I think I would think most new parents probably feel. Your to-do list doesn't get done quite as quickly as it used to. So we're partners, my wife and I. We tag in and tag out. The way that I've adjusted the routines is my goals for the day are more specific, much more specific. So I guess before, where it would be, move this design to the next phase. It's like, well, no, I want to talk to this person about this. I want to go to this project to see this. It's helped me feel more in control of my schedule, more accomplished at the end of the day, smaller chunks, more specific chunks. Because I don't know, I've simultaneously, I've never felt more motivated to succeed and to make Kesnix, a juggernaut, but also felt that pull to be home. So, I guess the short answer, trying to maximize my time in the office, time with clients, get the most out of it I can so that I can, for the most part, doesn't always happen, of course, for the most part, leave it at the office at 5:00 and tackle it again tomorrow.
I love your answer. Your goals became more specific and more intentional and planned in your calendar. I think that is a really, really great answer. There's so much of the time we talk about focus and getting things done and this intentionality to know what you're accomplishing, as opposed to work on this project, the 5 steps of the project, you're going to call them out individually. That's an awesome tool for any of us to use, I think, and moments where people might feel overwhelmed that they've got a list this long, whatever it is, to be more strategic and intentional with those goals. Awesome.
Yeah. It's just little bites. It's what's worked for me. It's helped. It's helped feel a little bit more in control.
Good for you. Control matters. I have a feeling that when you aren't working right now, I know what you're doing. As a new dad, you're home with Em and Susie. Pre-Susie, what recharged your batteries? What filled your tank? What did you go to recharge and reboot?
So it kind of started in COVID. Just my wife and I, we take weather pending at least an hour long, usually hour and a half, 2 hour long walk every day. Usually after work, we do our best, leave the phones at home, just connect. Sometimes we don't say a word, just walk. It kind of, winter obviously gets tough, especially in Wisconsin and Michigan, but it's an important part of the day for us, to recharge. Again, not unique. I'm a golf nut. I total nerd for golf architecture, golf history. Love that. And, I do like to write. I kept a journal for a long time. I kept a blog, which I think we'll talk about lately, to kind of scratch that itch. Again, not a unique idea, stole it from somebody. Created an email for Susie and sending Susie emails every week or so that she'll, someday in the future, probably 16, 18 years old, we'll give her the password and she can catch up. So that's kind of how I'm scratching that itch these days. A lot of fun.
Wow, Marcus, that is beautiful, man.
Thanks. It's selfish, like it's self-serving, right? It makes me feel good. And if it has a benefit, if she's not too embarrassed in 18 years, then it's a win.
What a great idea. I talked to a fair amount of folks about parenting just because I'm figuring it out slowly. We'll see. We're always trying to figure it out. We're bobbing and weaving all the time. But that idea has never come up. And I wish I had started that for my kiddos. And I guess it's not too late. It's never too late to start.
Right. Get started. Yeah. I'm not sure where I heard it. Definitely wasn't my idea. I'm not going to claim it, but loved it. Thought it was a great idea. And it's got a little calendar reminder once a week, something. Here's a new picture. Here's a new milestone. Here's something silly. Just, it'll hopefully by the time she reads it, it'll be nice and full.
Good for you, man. That's a brilliant idea. Farmer Lee is in the house. Yo, Farmer Lee. Cliff Whitman is in the house. Hey, friends. So glad to have you here. Look who else is here. Chris Kringley with Zumba Group, FE&S Magazine. Marcus, we are so proud that you're the FE&S DSR of the year. Well earned. Oh, awesome.
Thank you, Chris.
Chris, I got to meet Chris at that dinner. We got to sit next to each other. It's freaking
nice.
Awesome. Chris, I love getting to hang out with you. Let's talk. You talk about writing. And a part of the way I've gotten to know you was when I learned about your blog. And your blog began. I'm going to let you talk about it. You are a cancer survivor, Marcus, and maybe even a cancer thriver. I don't know if there's certain words that you prefer as it relates to your health journey. But getting to read through your blog was a pretty profound experience for me as someone getting to know you. And obviously anyone who goes through an experience like cancer, it is I'm assuming a significant part of their experience and their journey. And can you talk a little bit about, would you be open to talking about your cancer journey and what some of what you went through? And I don't know, we'd be open to hearing about it. I'd love to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I honestly, I really enjoy talking about it. It was an experience to be lived through. It was crazy. Wouldn't recommend it. Wouldn't sign up for it again. But I think I said it many times in the blog. I feel, honestly, that having cancer made me a better person in just about every single way. The experience made me more grateful, obviously, empathetic, patient, kind, all the above. I watched my mom pass away from cancer. She had breast cancer when I was 18. So obviously, my family had I have two older brothers and a little sister. So obviously we knew what a diagnosis meant or could mean. And I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, which the doctors kept calling it good cancer, which so good you can have it, right? Which I didn't always enjoy hearing the good cancer, but what they meant was it's responsive to chemo and fairly good success rates they call it 5-year survival rates were high. So prognosis was good. And went through the first round of chemo. It was about 6 months, and it worked. It was, again, zero fun, very sick. Just everyone knows somebody who's been through it, right? And no fun. And thought we kind of were ready to move beyond it, and then relapsed shortly after, which is very rare, and immediately kind of qualifies you as stage 4. So that's when the roller coaster, really started. So at the beginning, you mentioned the blog. It was at the advice of a couple friends. Have friends obviously spread out all over the country, and it started just like as a selfish, kind of self-serving. Protected myself from having the same conversation 50 times.
Yeah.
So I'm very fortunate to have so many people concerned and curious and wanting to know what was going on. And as a patient, it's hard to keep having that conversation. So it was great to kind of just put it out there. Here's what's going on. It started just as almost an afterthought, like, okay, I'll give it a try. And then it built into what turned into just an incredibly therapeutic, important thing that got me through each day. I mean, I looked forward to, it was special, and it's fun to look back on it. But once or twice a year, I might still go back and make another post and kind of give an update. But it's fun to talk about. I'll say that it was a crazy ride. When it changes you. You talked about, kind of when you go through something like that, everything's elevated when you're sick. Like everything feels bigger, joyful moments, scary moments, sad moments. I actually enjoyed that. It was kind of something I actually try and hang on to. Like everything felt, I guess elevated is the only word I can think of. I proposed to my wife while I was sick with cancer. I changed careers. I was still going through chemo when Mark hired me at the end. A lot of good things happened to me when I was sick. Many good things. So it's just, when you go through, when you're facing your own, mortality that way, it changes you forever, and able to prioritize. And I'm in a hurry to experience all I can. But the things that I could talk about it all day. I'll say it that way. The things I keep with me is I try and tell people how I feel about them as often as I can. These are goals, right? I'm not perfect. I fall on my face often, but it's part of who I am, and I'm proud of it. Proud that I am here, happy that I'm here, and it makes you thankful for the time that my nurses, doctors. I think some of my nurses might be here. I invited them. I thank them and everybody who helped me, but just for the time that they give me. Look what they've given me, right? Look where I am. Look who's at home waiting for me when we're done here, right? It's just mind blowing. So it's special.
We're not going to leave here yet. Farmer Lee Jones. Hey guys, great chat. Hey Farmer Lee. Gosh, I smile when I see your posts. Hi everyone. This is Ben Colon. Yo, Ben in Florida. What's up, brother? Tiffany.
There she is. Tiffany's a nurse of mine. Yeah. That's at 7 West at U of M, University of Michigan. Mott Children's Hospital is where the stem cell transplant floor is, and spent about 40 days hanging out. And worst experience of my life, and also one of the best. Yeah, some wild moments in that room. So yeah, it like I mentioned, everything felt elevated, bigger, more important, and it still does. And I thank having cancer for that. It sounds crazy, I know, but it's real. And I feel strongly about the blog. You mentioned the blog. Like it turned into a way for me to be myself behind a keyboard in a way that I wasn't really comfortable in my own skin doing in the world. And kind of found out that, all right, people seem somewhat interested in this blog guy, and me knowing that's the real version of me, the blemishes, the bad language, the self-deprecation, the fear, the laying it out there. Like I felt like the more honest I could be, the more true I was being to myself and to the experience. And it kind of led me to this moment where I stopped thinking of cancer as something that was happening to me. Just tricked myself, right? Something that was happening to me. This is bullshit. This is unfair. Why is it happening to me? And started thinking of it more as an experience that I was allowed to have, and kind of let go. And I'm not arguing that attitude doesn't make a difference. Of course it does. I have amazing family and friends behind me, but the moment that I kind of just started feeling like I'm along for the ride here a little bit, so let's just try and, I don't want to use the word enjoy, certainly don't enjoy, but experience it, remember it, document it. Everything got easier. Wasn't easy, but it got easier because there's just things that were you're out of control. It's out of my hands. I don't know why this happened. I know what can happen at the end of this. I sure hope it doesn't, but there's nothing that I can do, me personally, to affect this outcome. So maximize the time that I had and hope for more. And that's what's happened. So on a soapbox here, and I don't want to filibuster, but there's something I do feel actually pretty strongly about, if you'll allow me. I just, this platform is awesome. What you do, the positivity that you share is just so great. I think we need, I have the opinion that we need a new vocabulary when it comes to talking about cancer, when it comes to talking about disease in general. And when things are framed like they often are, even with, the best intentions, I know that, but they're framed as a fight, right? There's a winner and a loser. You got to fight cancer. You're going to fight hard. You got to beat cancer. Beat, fight, win. It implies that there's a loser. And I just hate that. And I remember feeling, and again, it's like, this is from my family, my best friend, so I know where it's coming from. But okay, they want me to fight. What else am I not doing? What should I be doing differently? What am I, am I not fighting hard enough? Am I failing? Well, I feel terrible today. I don't want to fight. I wanted to lay down and sleep. So not preaching. This is my personal experience. I think, Stuart Scott, ESPN commentator before he passed away from cancer, gave a speech at the ESPYs. And he won the Jim Valvano Award, and he talked about how he kind of touched on this, like the way you win is the life that you live, the way you affect the people around you. And I love that because, again, amazing family friend, Kevin Moody, a mentor, passed away from cancer. My mom passed away from cancer. We all know somebody. Sure as hell it wasn't because they didn't fight. It's like they didn't lose.
Yeah.
I just got lucky and they didn't. That's kind of how I feel. So anyway, off the soapbox. I just wanted to throw it out there.
No, I am so glad you said it. And I've got a follow-up question to that. This is our buddy. I think this is Matt Rigney. Yo, Matt, I think worst and best. I understand that. Different disease, but those challenges make us stronger. Awesome story. Thanks, Matt. Eric, so inspiring. Thanks for sharing your incredible journey. Wow. Couldn't agree more. I don't know why it's not popping up to see who this is. We'll get it later, but wow. Couldn't agree more about fighting and changing the vocabulary around it. It's, excuse me, when, in party, by the way, I want everyone, I'll type this into the comments later. Marcus's blog is Me, My Dog, Cancer and My Beard.blogspot.com, right? Go check it out. I'll type it in Facebook and LinkedIn so you can go read it. It is a beautiful journey, Marcus's journey and his vulnerability. And it is funny. Like the Jack Handy quotes and the humor and what you learned drinking wine while on chemo. That wasn't a great experience. All of these things. It was funny. It was real. It was your real experience coming out. It didn't seem to me like you were hiding anything. You weren't There weren't boundaries around what you were willing to share. So it was very authentic, and and it was very, I don't know, you were willing to despair very openly, and you were willing to hope all at the same time. And that's something that's unique, as you share tonight, is a willingness, or I don't know if it's a willingness, but I think you have kind of a unique ability to hold multiple things at one time. That it sounds like it was some version of hell, what you went through. And yet you also found a way to be with it and be grateful for it somehow, holding both. And I think that's hard for people.
Yeah. I wish honestly that I could explain how that came about. I don't know. I just sat and wrote, and it's a very personal experience being sick or knowing somebody who's sick, right? So that I would not ever presume to tell anybody how to act, what to think. But for me, I think what happened, among other things, is I've used the blog, I think kind of subconsciously, as a way to gas myself up. I can be brave on a keyboard, right? I'm terrified. I just heard what Dr. Phillips told me and what this is looking like, but I'm going to go home and I'm going to write a blog post and I'm going to be brave, and I can trick myself. And the other wrinkle there is I also was, I think, protecting my family and my friends, people who cared about me. Maybe again, kind of subconsciously, just there were moments, of course, of full honesty, like you mentioned, like this is what's happening, and this is ugly. This is not good. But a lot of it is fluff, right? And it's jokes and sarcasm and self-deprecation. And I don't necessarily think I'm a funny guy, but like when I look at it now, like I looked at it the other day for the first time in probably a year. When I see that stuff, what I really see now is fear. That was my way. That was my way of getting through it. Like if I can laugh at this somehow, if I can make this a joke, then it's not so bad. It's not so bad, right? It could be worse. It could be 6 feet under. I think the whole blog is a massive defense mechanism that just happened to be incredibly therapeutic and helpful. And it's special. And I'm really proud of it. Had no clue it would turn into what it did. But words have a way, I suppose.
Okay, I've got one more question, because it's you've got a journey that experienced something pretty profound, and my journey in my 20s was based with significant depression that almost, I almost didn't make it in some ways.
Understood. Through
that experience, and in your blog, you talk about, and then I want to read a poem too. You talk about things people would say, whether it's referencing this journey as a fight, right? As a battle that was received differently than the way someone intended it. Mm-hmm. There's also this thing, everything happens for a purpose. You talk about that. In going through that was an encouraging phrase.
Yeah.
Is that a fair way to paraphrase what you were saying about that?
100%. Not helpful in my personal opinion.
No, and my experience was the same. When I was 5 years into the depression, and I'm just in the fetal position in my closet, and all I can do is cry for 5 hours straight. Yeah. Someone telling me in year 5 of that experience that it all happens for a reason, and it wasn't life-giving. And so here's my question to you, because we have certainly a lot of friends, whether watching, friends just in our industry, by the fact that we have how many millions of people in our industry. There's a decent percentage going through hard stuff, right? We all go through hard stuff at different points in our journey, really hard stuff. And there's some going through it now. So based on what you walk through, what do you tell people who are in that moment in their journey? Is there something that resonated with you that was comforting, that was hopeful? And to be fair to Marcus, I didn't put this in our questions. I sent Marcus some questions, and this wasn't in there, but it kind of just came up as I kept reading. And I don't know, is there anything you would say, or is there anything you say when someone's going through their version of hell?
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess what I would say is laying it out there, me being me. Anytime somebody is an expert, other than the experts, right? You know what I mean? Other than doctors, nurses, anybody else, red flag for me. So it's intensely personal. So again, I guess my preface is that I would not presume to tell anybody how or what to think. But for me, I've had friends of friends, strangers reach out and ask, how'd you do it? And I guess the answer is that I didn't. I just let it go. It wasn't easy. But like, it goes back to the fight reference a little bit, but just like, I can't control this. I can wish and I can hope. And if you're a person of faith, you can pray. There's nothing I can do here. So that being the case, why waste my time? And when I was tired, this didn't happen right away. I went out drinking red wine because I thought life is short and I'm sick and I want to go out. It's wine night. I'll go have a couple glasses. Paid for that decision. You know what I mean? So like, yeah. This happened over time, but eventually I got to a point where just like, if I'm tired, I'm going to rest. And if I need to sleep for 48 hours, I'm going to do that. And if somebody thinks that this is the wrong way to act, then I don't give a shit. I don't care. This is what's working for me. And as a person supporting somebody who's going through something tough, give them that space. And I was so lucky to have that, to have family and friends who, you're not in a good mental space at that. Like I was a grump, man. I was upset, angry. Woe was me. All the understandable emotions, and to give somebody the space to feel those things, to not make them feel like they're incorrect or doing something wrong, was enormous. And I could, if I felt good, then I was active. I would go do stuff. I would, go play golf, whatever it was that day. If I wanted to get outside the house and I had some energy, Uncle Fester's on the golf course today. So, it's just, but it was on my terms. And there's no right or, I guess, rambling a little bit, but my response, because I've dealt with depression, anxiety, and still do, is that there's no, watch out for the experts. There's no right or wrong way. Yeah. Do what works for you. Find what works for you. And that's not easy. It takes time, of course, trial and error. But it's okay to just shut it down when you need to. The fight thing, there's a time and place for it, but you don't need to fight. It's out of your hands.
Yeah. I love it. There's this, I
don't know if that's morbid. I'm sorry. I just
no, it's not morbid. This is, this is real life, brother. And I think the greatest gift that we can offer someone in pain, is to allow them to be there with it and to not ever have them wonder if they should be somewhere other than where they are.
Yeah.
I call it the double gut punch, where you feel like shit, right? Because life's hard.
Yeah.
You're miserable. And then someone says, oh, and you're doing this the wrong way. So add on to whatever the painful experience is, shame. Yeah. And that's the double gut punch. You got the first one because you got cancer or you're puking because of chemo or whatever. And then the second one comes because someone says, you're not doing this good enough.
Yeah.
You could be doing it differently and better. And so the ability to be with someone in their pain and let them be exactly where they are. Look at this. Best employee, Nolan. Best employee I ever had. So happy to see you crushing it. He's crushing it, Nolan.
Yeah. I mean, guys like Nolan, many people, my brothers, my sister, my dad, get a little emotional. Nolan, my wife, the nights they spent on shitty hospital couches, just hanging out. Again, not saying a word. We're not doing anything. I just feel like shit. And I got somebody hanging out with, when you go through that and you come out the other side, it's like, what could be difficult?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like, I'm not Superman. Things are still hard. I struggle every day, but like, everything else is a breeze.
Love it. Profound hour. Thanks you both. Carolyn, I'm so glad you joined us. So appreciate, for some reason, they're not coming through on my feed. So I'm sorry I can't see who this is. I so appreciate your honesty. And yes, space is needed. Listening to your body is needed. Heck yes. Let it flow through you. Yeah, kind of like a river. Dam it up and it becomes a reservoir. Great hearing this, Marcus. I love it. I love it. Thanks for being so real. Tell me why Kesnix and Great Lakes is such a rad place to work. What's so special about what's happening there?
Difficult to put into short response. I'll try. I think it's got to start at the top. Mark Israel, we talked about him earlier. He's our visionary. It means a lot of things, but mostly it means to me that he's like deeply invested in his people and our success. Of course, the company's success, but he's got an awareness of where that comes from. It's a third generation company, so it's more than just the balance sheet. This is it's a family thing. It's Mark plays chess, and he has positioned all of the Great Lakes Ventures companies incredibly well. And from there, everything's driven by the core values. So we're not unique. A lot of companies have core values. A lot of companies take them seriously, but we really do. They drive everything. Hiring, firing, clients we chase, clients we don't chase, project, the way we approach literally everything down to the smallest details. So because that's there, and there's an understanding that if you're on the bus, right, if you're on the team, that you've got,
I was going to say, are they right behind you?
They are. Yeah, we've got all four of these. So there's space to work without being micromanaged, to be creative, and to you don't want to make mistakes, but there's room to make mistakes and learn and be taught. And there's so many incredible mentors on the team. Unreal, like almost ridiculous level of like combined knowledge and experience in the ventures, that you have this confidence that you don't need to know everything. We all try. It's part of the core values. School bell. We go to school. We want to learn. We want to grow, but it's impossible to know everything. And it's just this confidence of knowing that somebody that I have access to has this answer. So I don't need to BS a client or a colleague. I don't know, but I'm going to find out. I know for a fact I can find out. I'll get back to you. So, the space that we have to be ourselves, I guess personally, the thing that I've found, I guess the most exciting is that like me having success with Great Lakes and growing and having new opportunities, I didn't have to be a version of myself that wasn't authentic. I found success by being myself, and I continue to find success by being me. And like, I don't have to play a role of salesperson, of sales manager. It's not, it's a group of people across the ventures that are just fantastic. Just incredible. Family in our world, in the business world, it turns into a buzzword, unfortunately, but it's not the case here. It's a real thing.
Kudos. I think one of the greatest gifts management in any company can offer their team is that gift of come exactly as you are, and exactly as you are adds value here. And it doesn't mean you bring everyone onto your team, because not everybody has, for whatever, but they wanted Marcus, who you are, the guy with no AutoCAD or Revit experience and who wore a suit. And they saw something in you deeper beyond anything that was tangible, you know what I mean, from an industry perspective, although you'd run bars and things like that. But what a testament to what they're doing, that you feel comfortable and safe in your own skin to come be you and know that you being you adds value to that greater mission that they have. And I think it's awesome. Yeah,
I mentioned, healthy dose of self-doubt, right? I carry that, and it's just like, first day I work at Great Lakes, like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, how did this happen? Like, who did, and I I think it was, again, I'm not a dishonest person, but I think it was the fact that I didn't know I was being interviewed was like some crazy 3D chess game that Mark was playing that like, why wouldn't I be fully honest? I don't know what the heck AutoCAD is. I don't know what Revit is. What are you even talking about? I thought the architect put the kitchen together, So it's that across the board. It's like it takes some time, took me some time, I guess I should say, to accept that maybe he sees something in me that I don't, and I still don't, but they want me here for whatever reason. So it's time to just trust it and see where this goes. And it's going pretty well.
You said something that I think is really profound before I get to it. This is our buddy Bolt. Finding success by being you is so important. Authenticity is key. We don't have time to be someone else. Beautiful. Bolt, I love what you say there. We don't have time to be someone else. It's hard to feel like I've got time under my control to do my job, let alone pretend I'm someone I'm not or have to fake this experience. So really well said. Really well said. You said something a second ago, and you said, I might be getting it right. Maybe he saw something in me, or he saw something in me that, so for a second, let's talk about mentors, because I think that is one of the greatest gifts of the generation that's ahead of wherever we are, wherever you are, wherever I am.
Oh, yeah.
People that are doing it longer, is to look upon the generation below them or folks younger and find gifts that perhaps those people don't see in themselves. And sometimes when they speak it to us, then we come to believe it. I remember for Father's Day, I put something out about my dad because I came into the industry and worked for my dad, and he believed in me way before I ever did. And I would say that his belief in me eventually became my belief. So if you don't mind, talk about people who, I don't know, who were those voices in your life? Who were those people that spoke into you to help you along that journey?
It's another really long list. I think, I guess I believe that, anybody you come in contact with personally, professionally, I feel like you take a part of them with you, spend any amount of time with somebody, truthfully, good and bad. You learn that's who I want to be. That's who I don't want to be. So you're right. You learn both, and both have value. Just to shout out the food service industry, man, the people that I worked with, that worked for me. It was great early in the pandemic when, hey, they were in the spotlight for a little while. We're gonna recognize service employees, and it's a real bummer to see that that's faded. Not to get negative, but it's just these people deserve to be celebrated. Some of the hardest working, most responsible, just awesome people. So I've learned a ton from them. Been, again, luckiest man on the planet. Had some amazing coaches and mentors. Somebody that comes to mind, I know I mentioned Mark, of course. Joel Schultz started the design division at Great Lakes. Again, Mark, seeing around the corner, saw that there was a niche there for a dealer to have a design department. Joel took me under his wing, taught me a ton, was patient with me, same thing, let me make mistakes, gave me, let me download his encyclopedia of knowledge, built confidence. When we talk about learning CAD and Revit, Joel Schultz is the guy. Can't go by on without mentioning Mark again. The faith, it's confidence inspiring. Even if I don't know what he sees, like this guy sees something, and maybe you get inside your head. Maybe he sees that here's a guy who just went through something really difficult. Life was not guaranteed beyond this point. Here we are. Let's go get it. Maybe it was that simple that he just had a sense that I would work hard. Encouragers. Got to shout out my wife, Emma. I have the world's best support system. I mean, my family, Emma, I remember we talked about learning CAD in those 2 weeks. I remember her bringing me coffee. We were living in an apartment with a roommate. She'd bring me coffee at 3 a.m. I'm pulling an all-nighter trying to figure out literally how to save a project in CAD. High five, and when we did it, just the smallest little victories. Just last one, I guess I would just say there's a handful of reps who have all been amazing. Pete Belanger just retired from Great Lakes Hotel Supply, but before that, he was a rep calling on Great Lakes Hotel Supply. Spent unreal amounts of time with me, just took me under his wing, taught me a ton. Warren Casey, who's now with the company but was with Alto Sham, and just countless industry professionals who spent a hell of a lot more time with me than they were required to teach me, just chat, get to know me, make me feel like I belonged. Right? We talked about self-doubt. I'm here for a reason. Maybe I don't know what that is yet, but we'll figure it out.
I love it. I love all these people in your journey. We already read that from Bolt. Diane Sorensen lost the feed. Oh, bummer. But this was amazing. Would love to have a recording to share with my team members at Kesnix and Great Lakes. Diane, that we will make it happen. We will all this conversation, so everybody knows, and all of our conversations are at fspowerplant.com. It's our website built by the Crave team. Go check them all out. Eric Havlin, Jason, and Marcus, thanks for sharing your platform tonight in such a positive, encouraging way. You're making a huge difference. Keep pressing on. Eric, I'm so glad it's been meaningful, and I would agree. This conversation has affected me in some pretty cool ways, getting to know Marcus. All right, Marcus, you're making a difference, man. And there's some people, I reached out to a couple of friends to say, who is this guy? And tell me what he means to you and to the industry. And so you get to hear him because it's my favorite part and because we just get to. One of them is Carl Bouti. I don't know how to pronounce. I'm not pronouncing his name right. Boudelaire, PB&J.
Boudelaire, PB&J. Yep.
Carl and I served on the MOFSI board together years ago. The last couple of years were tough if you couldn't handle change. Some friends moved on. Some friends moved around. Marcus was one of the few names that always showed up at Kesnix. I wasn't sure how this was going to go when I saw the Sparty helmet on the wall. Since Ann Arbor is more my style. I love that that's such a prevalent part of your old culture up there is you're Michigan State or you're U of M, right?
It's amazing. In Wisconsin, they're all Badgers. In Michigan, there's 5 different ways you can go. Yeah.
So great.
Yeah.
But I found out that being a Michigan State fan isn't the character flaw that I thought it was. Marcus has impressed me as being a man of high integrity. He's not given to boasting, to exaggerating, or making empty promises. He gives full attention to the projects and the people in front of him. He seeks excellence, he communicates properly, and he gets results. He is not old-fashioned. He's just old school in all the right ways. It's really refreshing to meet a young talent of such high character and to count him as a friend.
Wow.
That is really cool.
Wow, that's awesome.
Carl, you're the man.
Thanks for sharing.
Our mutual friend, Jim Zink of Zink Food Service.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus is one of those guys that approaches business and life in such a positive way. Hungry, humble, smart, and grateful are words that come to mind when I think of him. Marcus immediately adds value to any situation he's involved in. He cares about others, and he's always enthusiastic. I've enjoyed getting to know Marcus. He leaves such a positive impact on others, and likely he doesn't even realize it. He has a tremendous future, and I'm fortunate to call him a friend.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Yikes. That feels good. I think I mentioned when you asked me to join the show, it's like, holy shit, he had Patricia Bible and Jim Zink. I'm like, why, who am I? So that's just really, that's great to hear. Thank you for sharing.
It's pretty awesome. Jim, thank you. Thank you. Lastly, our buddy Adam Israel, president of Kesnix. It has been an absolute pleasure getting to know Marcus on both a personal and professional level the last 7+ years. Ever since he moved to Madison to work at Kesnix, his charisma, motivation, and his humbleness have echoed throughout all his clients, his coworkers, and myself as well. It is an honor to work with Marcus, and I'm excited for his future, both in our professional world and as a father with his new daughter, Susie, and wife, Emma. Congrats, my friend, on all your success and celebrations this past year. Many more to come.
Thanks, man. Thank you. That's awesome.
What is this? Great hour of power. Look at that. An hour of power. Take it. David Maxwell in North Carolina. Yo, David, what's up, brother? Very inspirational. You, my friend, are another force and guest on the show, and we're grateful for the influence you are in my life. All caps. Thank you so much, Zena. We're really glad you joined us. Marcus, listen, man. Oh, gosh. Super grateful for who you are. Our industry needs you, and here's why. What did Jim say? Was it, or maybe it was Carl? He's not old-fashioned, just old school in all the right ways. There is one of the goals of these conversations is to model a different kind of conversation. One that is real, one that can talk about hard things, one that can talk about hope, one that can hold joy and anxiety at the same time, that it's all okay, that we're all human. And you are one of the few people who's been doing this for some time, whether it's in your blogs or in your life or in your journey or in your story. As you experience that cancer journey and everything else in your life, you had a choice. I can hide it all and I can fake to the world what's really going on, or I can just share it like it is and say, here's the glory and here's the pain and here's the hope and here's the fear. And this is all of it. And I think that is one of the greatest gifts that our industry can receive right now, because everyone has moments of hope and celebration, wonderful things, and everyone's got pain. And many are only comfortable talking about the good because they're afraid of what happens if they talk about the hard, or if they acknowledge that it's not always great, right? Yeah. And so who you are, your journey, and your willingness to share it is one of the most important gifts in our industry. And I'm really, really grateful you came and just came and brought you tonight, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This has been humbling, flattering, exciting, all the above. It's I'm excited. I enjoy talking about this. I came here ready to talk about work, which we did, but kind of also hoping we got to talk about the other stuff, because it's a huge part of who I am, shapes pretty much every day of my life now. So thank you. This has been pretty incredible.
Listen, friends in the Food Service Power Plant Network, if that's where you're checking us out on Facebook. If you are not, just so everyone knows, on LinkedIn, we have a community of 2,000 people on Facebook, the Food Service Power Plant Network. If you're a Facebook person, I don't sell Facebook, so you don't have to go sign up if you're not. Don't worry about it. But if you're on there and you want a place to connect, we've got a few thousand of us who encourage one another. We offer positive mindset tools. We let each other be exactly where we are, all for the hope of bettering one another and supporting each other on this journey. So you're welcome to join there. Listen, whatever you're going through, I would echo some of what Marcus said. Allow yourself to be wherever you are. You don't have to be anywhere else different. If some people, I'm sure, if you don't want to fight right now and you just need a nap, just nap. If you don't want to go outside, then just be wherever you are. Don't feel a pressure to be something other than your experience right now. And truth be told, positivity can kind of be that. We hope to be a place of positivity and encouragement, but sometimes there's something that's hard about positivity when it's like, oh, just think better, think more positive thoughts, just go for a walk, get outside, it's good for you. And that can be, that can take life at times. It really can. And it parts in my journey as well. So even though we offer positive mindset tools and hopefully things that are hopeful, encouraging, and performance tools, etc., if it feels that way for you, just put it all aside. And it's okay if that's not best for you right now. And if you're going through your own version of hell You keep going. I'm looking at my man right there, who walked through his journey. And it's not that our journey ever ends or that experience, right? We keep having up and down moments every day, things that are hopeful, things that are fearful. That doesn't end. It hasn't ended for Marcus. It hasn't ended for me. But I'll say, generally speaking, overall, I'm not as afraid as I was 15 years ago. And hopefully that's true in Marcus's journey. And your job is to keep moving. Keep going. If you need to reach out to people, you can reach out to either of us. You can come to the Power Plant community and connect with us. If you need someone to walk you through your journey, a professional, we've got coaches we can recommend. We've got therapists we recommend, whatever you need to help you move forward. So listen, go be you. I'm going to take that last cue. What Mark and the team at Great Lakes and Kesnix are allowing their team to be is just be them. Continue to be you. Live in the freedom of that and recognize that there's incredible gift there. Listen, again, thank you for watching. Thanks for joining us and making this such a special place. Thanks again to the Zumba team for believing in this mission and helping get the word out and being such a wonderful partner and really being really great friends. Grateful for you. Marcus and I both are. You've affected both of our lives quite profoundly. To the Crave team for all you're doing to help get the message out and build the platform and get the, all the stuff, the fun, pretty quotes that Aaron helps me with, all this kind of jazz. Incredibly grateful for you all. Food Service Power Plant Network, we're in this together. You are not alone. Your job, keep going. You're stronger than you realize. We will see you again soon. Marcus, thanks again. Have a great night, everybody. Be well.
Thanks, everybody.